low. And destroy. I might even share a link. I forgot to put the picture of the thumbnail image in the link, but I'm gonna post my link to oh god, I clicked on the wrong country. I'm going to post a link on Pacific 414 right now, so that people may see this. And here we go. So I'm just making some revisions to the live stream settings, and then I will continue my project. There we go. Now I can see the chat. I can see the statistics. Hey Google, stop. Okay, we are on step 6. Let's make sure we are indeed in focus. Yeah, we're basically, you're in focus when you see those diagonal jagged lines. So in step 6, it's telling me I got to grab something from the B sheet. So let's see, B sheet. Okay, this is B. And I got to go and grab, I guess, there's actually a couple of things. Okay, so let's start with B3. Now, what I like about B3 is that there's no potential for happy or sad mistakes. And I think we may want to adjust the focus so we can see the sheet a little better. So yeah, no happy or sad mistakes. B3 is an internal component, so there's no way you can really mess this up. And what I mentioned earlier in this stream was that I got some really good snips. I paid $35 for a new set of snips to supplement the snips I'm using right now. These are flush cutters, I guess you would call them. But what happened was the package was empty. In fact, the package arrived, and part of the packaging for the product arrived, but the item I was expecting to get, that did not arrive. And so, I did not get my fancy flush cutters that I had hoped. All right, now we got to grab an item out of C, the C sheet. Well, we got C right over here. We need C3 and C2. All right, well, let's see here. There's C3 right here. Now, one of the reasons I paid $35 for that new set of flush cutters that, disappeared before it even shipped was because of these stress marks. And maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe there's a better way to cut these. But I came up with an idea. I don't know if it's going to work. We're going to try it out. I decided maybe the solution to remove stress marks. That's the problem I'm having. I'm getting stress marks when I cut my pieces out. So what I decided to do was maybe one solution to reducing stress marks is to basically leave the burrs on. So right here you can see how I left this burr on it completely. And the reason I did that was because when you leave it in the sheet, even after you cut the very tip flush against the model, there's pressure on it. I'm thinking that maybe that pressure is what's causing the stress marks. So we're going to find out right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to just cut it nice and flush now. That's what we would have done if it was on the sheet anyway. Is that in focus? There we go. And so we're going to just, I don't know if there's a right way. And there's a little bit of a mark there. You could see it right there. But I feel like I could do something about it. I'm just going to repeat this here. Now, maybe there's a better part of the blade I could be using for cutting. I don't know. Oops, I cut my skin. And we got one more sticking out right here. And so what was interesting was the other flush cutters basically tell you, hey, what up, swashbuckling supersonic sopranos, September. This is a Gundam model kit, my friend. So you're going to love, I don't know if you're going to love it, but I love it. So the Victory Gundam is one of my favorite Gundams ever. And actually, I have a larger box laying around that has one or two misplaced components that I need to find before I continue it. But this is the V2 Victory Gundam. It's the second Victory Gundam from the animated series Mobile Suit Victory Gundam. And what makes the Victory Gundam special is two things. The original Victory Gundam is actually a mass-produced Gundam, and it actually takes place late in the timeline because Gundam has multiple timelines. Interestingly, funny thing, so Transformers. Did Transformers get bought out by Bandai? I know Power Rangers was owned by Bandai. Well, this TV series debuted in 1993, and it coincided with the time in which Bandai purchased Sunrise, which is the company that makes Gundam. Gundam is superior to Transformers. Now, I wouldn't say that. I've never watched Transformers as a 90s child. I certainly had my fair share of Transformers toys, but I'm a big Gundam head, and I can give you like a couple of little examples real quick if you would like of why Gundam is the shiznit. There we go, I found it. Oh my god, my scroll wheel on my mouse is all effed up. So I totally don't have bootleg episodes of this show. These are totally legitimate, I swear. Just like the thing I'm processing. In fact, the Blu-ray that's running to my video encoder right now, I did buy that. I actually paid $170 for Legend of the Galactic Heroes, but that's a different topic. I did a stream on that yesterday, and I had to refine my process for adding subtitles. But let's get right to Gundam here. So Victory Gundam is super cool because, like, it's unlike any other Gundam series I've ever seen. And I don't have my keyboard. Well, I have my keyboard. I just kind of have to finagle my... Oh, I'm not looking at my screen. Where are my manners? So right there, actually, that kind of shows you what the Victory Gundam is about. So, okay, so yeah, you got a character. You got a robot named the Haro. You got this boy here. And so you're going to see he's flying a fighter plane. But that is actually, in Gundam, we have what they call a core fighter. And the core fighter is really just the core of the mobile suit. In fact, the V2 Gundam has a core fighter too, and this chest piece ultimately can transform into a fighter plane. So essentially it takes on this shape, and I guess that's the only camera angle we have. So yeah, you can see right there, that is a core fighter, and this is the chest, and this here turns into this. But essentially how it happens is this has to dock with the arms and it has to dock with the legs. So in a way, it's a bit like Transformers. I got a cardboard box. So anyway, we're going to see the three components right here. So right there, you can see it's shooting a laser beam or something to like help it dock. That's the hanger, aka the arms. That's another core fighter with legs on it. The boots, they call it. And so they're actually able to dock, and he's going to do it right now. This thing's going to morph, and it's actually the head is behind the cockpit. See? Hey Google, stop. And so right there you can see it's already docking, and this is the original Victory Gundam, and this is the first one. I do have a model kit I can grab real quick. And so what we're going to do is we're going to lower the volume and pray that this does not get like flagged. In fact, it's going to get flagged. I just remembered I did do something a week ago. So see that pattern there? You know why I put this pattern up? I discovered that if you put this pattern up, it thwarts the content ID matching feature. Well, you tell me, is it English or Japanese, my friend? Guess that language. I'm going to sing along. I'm going to sing along in Japanese. Stand up to the victory. Itsuku mono asamukai. Itsuka kito. Okay, I'm not going to sing. I'll spare you from that. And so right here is cool, because in the original Gundam series, they have a machine called the gun cannon. I'm going to get us a picture of the gun cannon real quick, because this is super duper important. So in the original Gundam series, and this is like 1979, the original Gundam it was built along with like 3 prototypes. So this is the gun cannon. In this picture, you can actually see, well, actually we can't see, where's the original Gundam? Here it is. In this picture, you can see the original Gundam in the 1979 animated series. And one of the prototypes was the gun cannon, which shot regular projectiles, basically. And so what I love about the this particular variant of the Victory Gundam, so okay, let's get a picture here. That's the gun cannon. It can lean forward and shoot like artillery out of those shoulder cannons. And when we go back to my main screen, you can see the resemblance right there. Let's turn off the pattern for a minute because we're not playing video. So you can see this and that. You see a resemblance right there? So, I don't know. I love this one. This is actually called the V-Gundam. And essentially all it is a first-gen Victory Gundam with a backpack attached to it. And I just got to put the chat back up on my screen. And I'm just going to grab something real quick. In the meantime, I'm going to have to put the stupid pattern back up because I can't read my screen when it says copyright claim if I get up. Okay. So I got 2 Gundam models that are missing a couple of pieces. Whoops. That's interesting. I have an Xbox on the floor. So I have 2 Gundam models that are missing a couple of pieces. And this is one of them. And I have a hunch where to find the pieces, but it really doesn't matter if I find the missing pieces for this model right here, because, I mean, what am I going to do? Build this one? This is, okay, so Gundam models are sold in master grade and high grade. This one is HG. It says up on the top left corner, HG. This is a master grade, and a master grade is exactly as the name implies. It's a much bigger box. But what makes this one cool is, a while back when I started building this one, I got as far as building part of the core fighter. And the core fighter, the fucking nose of the cockpit swings down in order to reveal the head. You can even see the head right over here. And in the end, like, you can even see, like, this model turns into all of this crap. So you can take this model that's a Gundam and turn it into the fighter with boots. You can take this model with the head and all of this, take the legs off or the boots and turn it into the hangers. You can take the hanger and remove that and get just a plain core fighter. Or in the animated series, in fact, this is what I wanted to show you an example of why I fell in love with this series. Or maybe not the reason why, but we're going to find an example right now. So the first like 5 episodes of this show practically take place on the back of a truck. I kid you not, it takes place on the back of a truck. And we're going to find some examples. In fact, these guys have beam rotors, so it's a beam shield, but they figured out how to use it like a helicopter rotor. They're the bad guys, of course. And oh, this is the episode I didn't watch yet. Well, I'm rewatching it, and I skipped the first 10 episodes during my rewatching, and now I have to go back. So I started going back to the first 10 episodes because I'm on episode 30, and I don't want to, like, you know, miss out on the beginning of the show. But, like, we're going to find, and so, yeah, one of the hallmarks of a Gundam series is the O'Neill cylinder space colony. You can see right over here. And it's basically got quartz windows, because quartz allows transparency for UV light. It has these mirrors on it that, you know, face the sun, and the mirrors can be repositioned in order to simulate sunrise and sunset. And you can see on the inner surface of these solid walls, you have a habitation. You got land, you got cities, you got towns, you got boroughs, you got all of that stuff right there. Okay, we'll put the hexagonal pattern back on. And I noticed today the YouTube statistics were a little bit off. So I couldn't tell how many people liked people's videos. Like, I clicked on a video that had 1 million views and it said there was 2 likes. And I'm like, this does not make sense. So I don't know if my viewing statistics are off today, but let me know if you're still watching. Either way, I'll show you the beginning if you're not watching. And so in the beginning of the show, you got this resistance group. The resistance group is called the Ligue Militaire. It's like a militia. And they have this mass-produced Gundam, which is like unique in, you know, the Gundam franchise. Because a bunch of these old people, these old guys here, they were former employees of the company that built Gundams, basically. And now you got these people going around putting people's heads on a guillotine. And so these old guys from the arms manufacturer who like are practically retired are using their expertise to build, you know, this new mass-produced Gundam. And so they're driving around in the middle of Europe on a truck. And you can even see, like, that's the core fighter right there. And these are the bad guys, you know. I want to show the launching sequence here. It says Bandai Battle. Yeah, this is the correct episode, by the way. I know for sure. This is the episode I'm looking for. Got this bitch. She turns into a bitch. By the way, these are the only 2 characters. The dog and the robot, they're like the only 2 characters to survive the show, basically. Okay, cool. Here we go. So they're on the back of the camion, which is just another way of saying truck in Spanish, I think. And you got this old guy here. I think his name is Gomez. and you got this young guy named Odello Henrik. Henrik, very German. And this is Otis, and they have to manually like operate his arm in order to like get the thing ready for launching a part of the mobile suit. So this mobile suit is currently in pieces on the back of a truck, and they basically have to use a launch catapult to launch the legs, to launch the arms. And you got this lady, she's got an injured leg, but she's fighting anyway. And that's basically how you get like a 12-year-old kid fighting in this show. Because, you know, in the Gundam series, it's always like a 12-year-old accidentally comes into possession of a giant robot. And you can see he's putting out the smoke signal. He's like, okay, put out the smoke signal. So he puts out a smoke signal here. And I don't know why the lady's name is Marvette, because her name is Marvette. So now you got the old guys, they're all wearing their headphones, they're ready to go. So you got the Camion, the Spanish truck or European truck. She's like, I'm good, man. I'm not getting on your stupid truck. I'm good on my own. I don't want to be in this war. That's what the girl said, Shakti, the brown girl. She's like not having it. She's having it. I mean, she's a good guy. She's one of the good guys. Well, that's cool. He's got eyeball tracking on his mobile suit. So right there, you can even see the mobile suit, the arms are holding the beam rifle. So just to give you an idea, what you're looking at is part of the arm holding a mega particle, or a beam rifle, not a mega particle cannon. And so our friend Marvette is all like, we got to dock. So she's going to dock, I think. If we just get past, I don't, the enemy mobile suits are ugly. I don't even know if they sell model kits of these. Nobody likes them. Now, of course, the boy, he accidentally pilots an enemy mobile suit, but that's a different topic. Oh, he's just ejected. Emergency ejection, and he's in the escape pod falling out. Yeah! But this is not the episode. Oh, wait, good. So he actually, so you can see now, he gets inside. So you can see how, like, the Victory Gundam, it can have the cockpit pop out with a window on it, so you can kind of walk with yourself looking out a window. And he's sort of like learning how to operate it, because really the lady who's just piloting it, she's injured. She really shouldn't be piloting a mobile suit. But in the next episode, they do an aerial docking. Wait, did I miss anything? No, that was the ending. Okay, good. So let's see if we can find the aerial docking now. So it's telling the events of the last episode. And Shakti's like, this is kind of sketchy. Oh, yeah, this is funny. So he's like practicing the mobile suit. So he fucks with his friends. He's like, ah, that hurt. And like, we get it, you're a genius. And then they're like, dude, stop jerking around. How long are you going to keep fooling around? If the plan is to disengage the V mode, which is basically the assembled mobile suit. Hey, what up, Brandon? It's good to see you, Brandon, Looney Tunes fan 2000. And so he's got to now exit victory mode. And to do that, they have to actually like lean it on the back of the truck and undock the mobile suit. Because right now, they don't have a base of operations. They're using subway tunnels to build this mobile suit. And he's like, what do you mean you never done this before? And everyone's super apologetic. They're like, we're really sorry that we're putting you in this position to pilot this, you know, military machine. And Gomez is like, well, we believe in your abilities. I think you guys are crazy. And there we go. He just detached it, went into hover mode, and now they're going to load the arms or the hanger onto the truck. And it looks like he's going to land indoors somewhere. So they must have a hidden base, I guess. And that's Cliff. His name is Cliff. And these are people from the League Militaire. All right, let's find the docking scene. Yeah, here it is. So they got like a secret base nearby, actually. It's like a subway tunnel, and he's flying the core fighter right now. As you can see, he just zipped by in the fighter plane. And that fighter plane's got a dock before it could turn into a mobile suit. Before it could turn into a full-on Gundam, he got a dock. So they're gonna, he's gonna use the gun to kind of, if get the enemy to go away. So the good guy's gonna shoot some missiles on his behalf. And so now here's the underground base. And they're like, we're gonna launch the top rim after the smoke screen. They got a little launch catapult in a broken out building or something. And there we go. Now we got the arms attached to the Gundam. So he's now got a beam cannon attached to his thing. He doesn't have to use the shitty machine gun anymore. You got these guys, militia fighters, holding bazookas. And there we go. This is Cliff. He's like ready to launch the legs for the mobile suit now. And there's times in this show where they do it off the back of a truck. This one, they're doing it out of an underground building. It looks like I might have skipped an episode by accident. These guys are discovering for the first time that this Gundam can dock. He can't shoot a human being. He's like, it's easy to shoot a machine, but he's like afraid to shoot a human. But anyway, let's get back on topic here. I'm here to build Gundam. So anyway, hope that enlightens anybody who's curious about what series this Gundam model is being built out of. And so once again, we got the manual right over here. And we were on page, yeah, here we go. We got our B3. So actually, what do I have to do next? What is it where things get a little tricky? Shit, where's my sandpaper? I need to find my sandpaper before I can proceed. I got sandpaper. But I need to find the other sandpaper. Oh, here it is. It's right under me, apparently. Okay, so we're missing like 5 of the pieces of sandpaper. We got 2 out of 4. This is some good stuff here. If this is sandpaper that you could add water to in order to polish it, basically. You want to polish it, the model a bit. Here we go. We got it all. So basically, what we have here are varying levels of grit. And you can see that each of these sandpapers have numbers on it. So this is 5,000 grit. This is like supposedly 1,000 grit, but it feels rougher when you don't add water to it. We got 400, 800, 3,000, and 5,000 grit. So what we're doing here is you use the lower grit to get like a rough sanding, and you work your way up, and you add water to these for to get like even smoother sanding. We could probably bring the camera closer just to make it a little easier to see what we're doing here. But there's really not much to see at this point. So, I have to get this nub off. And sometimes I'll try to use the razor blade to do it, but it can be a little hazardous to, you don't want to ruin anything. My goal is to remove the nubs, but also to reduce stress marks. So anyway, I think we're going to start adding water to our sandpaper. And what we could do is we probably add water to like the, one of these little like compartments here in the dish. Maybe put it over here or put it over here so we have some water here. We can put a drop here, here, here. It doesn't really matter, just silicone. But we want to be able to have access to water. We want to do some wet sanding. But yeah, so the bad guys in Victory Gundam, they live in the space colonies, but they kind of got like a little upset for some reason, or at least there's some militant guy who, decided to sort of like sucker a bunch of people into thinking they have some high and mighty moral values. And that's a whole, part of revelation that happens later in the series. But bottom line is that they're invading Earth, and they're saying that, oh, you people are polluting Earth. You guys don't know what a good thing when you have it. So they're trying to take over Earth, like with this attitude, like, you people don't deserve it. You people are assholes polluting the Earth and stuff. They're kind of using this fake environmental outrage while they burn shit down. And the League Militaire is like, And the Earth Federation is well on its way to stagnation, unfortunately. And so, what's sad about Victory Gundam is that, like, it's sort of like the death knell of the Earth Federation. I really think they shouldn't have, like, wrote off the Earth Federation. I think they should have just kept going in some other form. But, sadly, there is a Gundam series. This is actually, this Gundam series takes place late in the Universal Century timeline. It's actually the last one. So, for example, the original Gundam movie, or Gundam series, depending on how you watch it, takes place in the year 0079 in the Universal Century calendar. And the thing is, this Gundam series takes place in the year 150. So it's like literally 70 years after the first Gundam. And by this point, the Earth Federation's been under scrutiny for corruption and all of this crazy stuff. And so by this point in the Gundam timeline, the Earth Federation doesn't even reside on Earth anymore. The Congress of the Earth Federation exists on the moon because I guess they figured out this is like the only way that this could be sustainable. Although even then, it's like, it's just a vestige of what it once was. And yet, what's crazy about Victory Gundam is, by this point in the Gundam timeline, they still have a ton of ships left over from previous wars. Because in the year 0079, they had the 1 year war. And some would argue that the Earth Federation, that came out pretty nicely, actually. I don't even see any evidence of any stress marks. I might be onto something with the way I'm cutting the stress marks off. By that point in the Gundam timeline, in 0079, like, literally, it was just like, they lost good people. There's a guy named General Revel, and, like, basically, virtuous people were lost, and this is what gave way to, like, a lot of the atrocities that happened after the 1 year war. And so, for example, if anyone ever watched Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, that takes place in, like, what, the year UC 0087. So remember, you got 0079 and 0087. Well, what gave way to the events of 0087? Well, there's actually a mini-series called Mobile Suit Gundam 0083. It's like some people love it, some people hate it, but for some people it's their favorite. And it is a very good mini-series. And basically, at that particular point in time, you got like the Earth Federation is still pretty powerful. They're victorious after they win the war. They're victorious, but you got some corrupt individuals in the Earth Federation military and government, and they basically took advantage of a conspiracy which they were probably in on that involves dropping a colony on Earth. In fact, the original intent was to drop it on the capital city, but it ends up getting scattered across North America. But in any case, this conspiracy is used as a pretext, sort of like 9/11. It's used as a pretext to, basically expand power, for the military, for the government, for intelligence agencies, and what other sketchy characters may, benefit from that type of thing. So actually, I gotta say, this is one of the better ones. I don't really see much in the way of evidence that this thing was cut off the model kit. I see like a little bit of a. You can sort of see that up here, but I don't think that's really visible from the outside. Like, I think mostly it's underneath the armored plating. So anyway, we could go once over it one more time to be sure. Now you can't really hear the sound, but I'm certainly sanding this. I could turn off all of my audio filters, maybe to add some ambiance. How does that sound? Let's try that out. So now you're gonna hear everything. You should probably be hearing some crickets in the background now. And even though normally I pride myself on having excellent audio, I think maybe having some crickets chirping in the background would be a good idea. Now, depending on who you speak to, you gotta be careful. You don't want to mix particles from different types of sandpaper with each other. Oh, I just remembered something. I have to adjust my telescope. So let's double check here, make sure. Oh, there's one more up here. Yep, we gotta take care of that one. So we'll take this razor blade. And I do own an X-Acto knife. I could probably see if that works better. So there it is right there. Once again, we don't have to sand at this piece, but we do have another armored component. That's going to be C4. Now, once again, we're going to use the same method. I don't know if this is a method that makes sense, but it seems to be working for me so far. To cut down on stress marks, I'm cutting it backwards actually, just to kind of, basically avoid creating pressure marks. And then I'm going to cut off the burrs after I do this. And it seems backwards, but it seems to be working for me right now. Because when you put pressure, the plastic turns white on the tip. You can sort of see some of that right there. Alright, so that might be a little overkill, but what I just did was I adjusted my lighting. There we go. Hopefully that'll help with the lighting a little better. Okay, so that's one of the intentionally left over burrs. So far, which one did I cut off? Okay, so I once got invited to a pyramid scheme. That shit was annoying. I'm definitely afraid of doing this. See? And left a scratch on it too now. This is why I'm not crazy. I don't know if the $35 cutting tool will do better, but I'm willing to give it a chance. So that one came up. It's a lot like using a nail buffer. So basically, as you go to the higher grit sandpaper, it acts like a polishing thing. All right, we need to get polycarbonate part. No, it's a polycap. I need to find polycap number 3. Yep, here we are. Polycaps are basically flexible pieces. And once again, these are internal components, so I don't need to go crazy on making sure I cut them perfectly. Plus, they're made out of a softer material, so they're not too difficult to cut. There we go. So now, we're ready to assemble the parts that have been cut and sanded. Okay, so let's see if we can understand what this is telling me to do. I think it wants me to assemble it. So let's see, we got a shoulder now. What's interesting, oh, my sanding is not quite perfect, but I can refine it. It's still, in a state where I can still refine the sanding if I want. So what I might do is take the 800 grit or the 3000 grit and just kind of go over it a little bit, see if we can maybe help the condition of that. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to use a circular motion, but I just did. Now we're gonna use the... Can't say I'm super happy with what's going on with the result of this, but we're gonna give it a gentle swipe with 800 grit. We're gonna work our way up to 3000 grit again. That's better. Now, I should note that I bought Tamiya cement. Now this is a different one, but I have the ultra thin glue, and it turns out the ultra thin one, which I have in another room, I got to bring it up here, is used for helping to hide panel lines. So I'm looking forward to using the glue to see if that actually works. But we have a shoulder. We have a shoulder. So if I had to guess, I'm going to guess that the other side of the shoulder. No, it's telling me to build an arm. All right, so we need A6. Once again, I'm going to use my specialty method for cutting. Don't know if this actually works, but we'll try it out. I think it does work because I've been using it for like since last night. And it seems to cut down on pressure markings. So, I'm going to keep at it with this method of keeping the burrs attached and cutting them off after they come off of the sheet. And it seems like cutting the yellow and the white pieces tends to be the easiest in terms of like avoiding any issue. So now we can, if we can even see the burrs, I'm sure there are burrs on here. Yep, there it is. So I'm going to just rough off the edge, the nub. So there we go, just getting the nub. So like I said, we got a shoulder, we got the chest. Whoops, don't want to put that in water. And we got, right now we're building an arm, I believe. Yep. And right now what I'm doing is kind of gently removing any of the burrs because, we cut this off a sheet. And there should be 3 burrs on here, so I always forget where one of them is. I'm looking for the missing burr right now. But if I can't see it, maybe that's a good thing. If I can't see it, does it really matter? So we're going to focus on the ones we can see. We're going to use, once again, progressively higher grit sandpaper. So we're on 400 grit. We're going to move our way up to 800 grit. Ah, found a missing burr. I gotta say, the air outside smells very nice right now. With the window open, it's cool outside. It smells. Oh, I keep forgetting. I gotta control my telescope. I keep forgetting that. Oh, and my audio level was a little bit off. So I'm gonna turn my audio filters back on. There we go. That helps to increase the gain of my audio a bit. But now you're only gonna hear the crickets chirping when I speak. Okay. Now we're on 3000 grit. Unfortunately, when I turn off the audio filters, unless I adjust the volume on my microphone, I guess I could do that. We could, if I increase the volume on my microphone and I turn off the filters, then we could hear the sandpaper if we really want to. The case of the missing Burr family finally solved. Yeah, they're attached to my Gundam model. This, of course, being the Victory Gundam right here. Just give you some reference points. We got the Core Fighter. We got the completely, transformed Gundam. I was thinking about taking a bike ride, but I had a little wine during dinner, and I decided I would just sit down and relax before going out for a bike ride, if I even do that today. I do have a haircut at noon tomorrow. That's at noon. I don't know which sandpaper I was just holding in my hand. Yeah, we'll go back to 5000 grit. So basically, you do dry sanding if you want to get a rough sanding, but then you add water and you basically just do wet sanding. You perform wet sanding on increasingly higher grit until you can polish it. So you go from sanding to polishing, basically. Oh, I keep forgetting I gotta do something with my telescope. Okay, it's nighttime, right? And we don't want to waste nighttime. So what we like to do is, what I like to do is not waste nighttime when it's a clear night. So we're gonna open up an application that lets me remotely log into my astronomical control unit. This video encoder is taking way longer than I expected. Wait, is it even running? Did the piece of shit crash me again? Okay, what was this missing? So yeah, here's the software I control my cameras on my telescope with. I'm gonna fire it up. So I gotta just make some adjustments. Turn on the cooling unit. We're gonna cool the image sensor down to -15 Celsius. Now we're not doing lunar imaging tonight, so we're gonna bump the resolution up to high resolution. In fact, I know it wasn't. I was taking pictures of Jupiter. So now I forget how to do this. No, okay, let's go here. So we're gonna just I'm gonna crank up the exposure time a lot, and I remember what I gotta do now. I have to actually I'm gonna actually disconnect the motorized focuser so that we could dial into the speed dial on it before we proceed. Because I have an application that has some presets here. So last time I used my telescope, it was on this setting. So whoops, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I see why. I failed to disconnect. Try that again. There we go. Now it should work. Oh, come on. Maybe. I hope I don't have to get up and go outside. There we go. Thank goodness. Okay, I don't have to go outside. So now it's on 0. We got to. Oh, wait. It's already in the correct position? Oh, I didn't park the thing. Okay, well, let's see. Then we can see some stars already. Yes, we can. All right, good. So what we're going to do is we're going to point at an easy part of the sky. Hey, Google, what's the relative humidity? Okay, now let's see what we can do here. We got to open up Stellarium. Oh, it's already opened. Okay, let's just open up the Um, I can try. The question that one of our viewers have asked, Bone has asked us, can you blow up a planet with your space laser? Well, I can try, but the only space laser I possess right now is a green laser pointer. Now, what I can do is I can melt things if I take my telescope and I point it at the sun and I take, everything off the back of it. It's like better than any magnifying glass. I once burnt a hole through a piece of paper using my telescope. That was fun. And I mean, that's because I could use my telescope. I could point it at the sun, and surprisingly not. So now, here's an option here. We got the Andromeda Galaxy M31. And the only issue with M31 is it is like not the brightest object in the sky, but it is something that I think the weather tonight is going to permit me to image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to point that. We always got the Pac-Man Nebula. You know what? What's the position of the Pac-Man Nebula? That's a tough decision. You know what? I bet you. Let me just see something here. I got to see if the Twin Towers are lit up. So we're going to point to Andromeda for now because I think the World Trade Center, disaster site has a memorial thing going on. So what they do is they put these super bright, like, lights, metal halide lamps or something, in the ground where the buildings used to stand. And so you got these two beams of light pointing straight up. Hey Google, is the World Trade Center Memorial using the lights tonight? Okay, let me see here. Let's see if okay. From dusk until dawn on Monday, September 11th, twin blue beams of light will illuminate the Manhattan skyline. The public art installation, which was first presented in '02, presents two beams of light that reach 4 miles into the sky, representing the Twin Towers. Okay, so I don't think they're running the memorial every day, which is good because that shit messes up my astrophotography. Okay, so now, of course, Bone, as a fan and I think a moderator of Eric O'Sullivan, you're well aware of Eric's concept of naked eye astronomy. Oh, and this is interesting. We can already see Andromeda. I think Andromeda is in this corner right here. And so it's not quite centered. But what we can do is we can crank up the exposure to prove it. Yep, that's Andromeda right there. And that's actually a dwarf galaxy. Here it is, right next to Andromeda. So we want to make this the center object. How do I do that? Well, what I like to do is I like to do like maybe an 8-second exposure. It doesn't really matter which one I do. But I'm going to do about an 8-second exposure. And while that's firing away, we're going to browse for the file. Because we're going to use this application to basically update the mount so that the mount can recenter. It can recenter the target. So basically what we do, oh, whoops, wrong setting. Are we on the wrong setting? Kind of on the wrong setting. We got to fix that. There we go. Now we're in the right setting. I visited Memorial years ago. I was only there in the daytime. Yeah, I walked past there once too. I forgot, it was like years ago too. It was like super crowded, so I wasn't really looking to wait online for that. Okay, so now it's going to analyze the image, and what this program is going to do is it's going to analyze the constellations and compare it to the star map. And then it's going to update the position of this reticle, because this reticle right now, whoops, is not pointing on Andromeda. We can see that it's not in the center of my frame. So this program is going to give us the correct position so that we can actually be on target. So we'll give that a moment. In the meantime, I'm gonna just continue this Gundam model, and there's another pictured model right there. This is a beam shield, so it's sort of like a force field, which it doesn't happen until like later in the Gundam's universe with Century timeline, but it is a pretty cool feature of that particular type of Gundam. Okay, so we got A16. We need A111. Once again, I'm going to leave the birds attached on purpose because it seems to make it easier for me. Okay, good. So the software confirms sync. Watch this. So see this reticle over here? When I click yes, it's gonna show us the true position, and that's cool because now that we know the true position, we can tell it center it on target. And while that's happening, I'm going to load up the auto guiding software. Enhance. 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 Yes, that's funny, Bone. I don't have my chat overlay turned on today, but yes, you're absolutely right. Zoom in and enhance. It's just like that movie Anchorman. Enhance. Enhance. Oh boy, I hope I don't have to adjust the focusing mechanism on here. Actually, it looks like I don't have to. All right, well, it's good. Lock target. This basically is a secondary telescope that helps to keep me on target. So that's Andromeda right there, but obviously it's not the brightest image. So I think because the weather conditions are good tonight, we are going to try to image this in, you know, actual broadband color, red, green, and blue. Normally we would put this in a narrowband filter, but it just looks too good. So I'm going to do a 2-minute exposure with the current settings in broadband. And maybe we crank it up from there. And I'm contemplating already cranking up the setting to say maybe 3 minutes. So maybe we do 180 seconds as our starting point. And we're basically just starting the red filter. Oh, before I can even do 180 seconds, I got to make sure it's in focus. So we're going to zoom in at 100%. And then go to the bathroom after that. I really got to go. I'm not going to the bathroom until this is in focus. So we got the motorized focusing soft item right here. Now we're going to focus it. Normally you'd have to turn a physical knob on the telescope. We're doing this remotely right now. You can see how like right now it's updating every quarter second or every half second. And what I'm doing is I'm just pulling the focuser in. That should be about right. So now we're going to zoom out again. Made an oopsie. So what I'm doing is I'm giving the name, I'm putting the word broadband in, and that's the difference between broadband and narrowband. And where did that piece of plastic go that I was just holding? Oh, real quick, let's make some adjustments before I go back on my hunt. Seriously though, where did that piece of plastic go? Oh, good, it's still attached. I'll give a quick pro tip on Gundam models in a second. Okay, so now we're at 180-second exposure, and we're gonna just leave it like that. So it's gonna take about 6 minutes for the first picture to come in. But before I step away from my desk, I'm gonna leave it on the astronomy view. I want to show you an important pro tip if you ever build a Gundam, and that is when you're cutting these burrs off. So, like I said, I'm still figuring this out. I was running into an issue with them, but here's a mistake I would have made years ago that would have required repairing it with some glue. So imagine you sloppy. I could see myself cutting it here instead of cutting it here. So yeah, I would cut it there. Now on this one, whoops. Okay, there we go. You know, when I was a kid, if I was building a model like this, I would have just ripped the pieces off. I wouldn't even try to like cut them. First time I did a Gundam model, I thought it was so clever. I used a nail file to take off the nubs after cutting off the burrs. Luckily, this part doesn't need to be shiny, so I don't really have to go crazy with the rough sanding or light sanding. I'm kind of inclined to leave the side of this armored plating alone. I'm leaving this piece alone. I'm not even going to bother sanding it. Okay, and then now we got, what was it, A6, and what's this one here, A111. Okay, I'm holding A111 here. Okay, so I see how this works. This piece goes here. And if I'm looking at this correctly, there we go. So now that's how you get that two-tone coloring right there. You see how I just inserted this piece over here, and this piece kind of goes here, I guess. Whoops. But I'll leave that alone for now. And let's see, now on number 7. And it says I got to take B11. B would be, I don't know where the B parts are. Good, it's an internal piece, I think. You can also see the beam rifle is located here. That might be an external part. I'm not really sure. I'm mostly going to leave this part alone. All right, so that's B11 and A123. Okay. I didn't realize 6 minutes went by already. It's a little blown out. We could see the galaxy though. You could see I'm gonna move the crosshair over. You can see like how you got that dark spot there. And so what we usually do is at some point in the processing, we're gonna actually stack the images, but this is something that makes me think maybe I should shorten it to a 2 minute exposure or switch to a broadband filter because and basically the Andromeda galaxy takes up most of the frame. It's a very large object. You get like a little bit of hint, and this is gonna be rendered in red when we do our post processing. So if I wanted to keep looping with this and stack it later, we definitely have a lot of signal there. So you get like that is sort of like a hint of the galaxy right there. You can certainly see like part of the ecliptic shape to it. I feel like the Pac-Man Nebula might be more worth our time here, but my mouse is dirty. Now a lot of galaxies require a lot more zoom. So with my camera right now, this is pretty small. Whereas Andromeda literally occupies this diagonal part of the frame right here. So it's being clipped a little bit, but I'm fine with it. This would be like blue or O3, which is oxygen. The red parts we're already imaging right now. You were getting some cloud cover there. Hey Google, what's the weather? Might switch to a longer exposure setting. All right, Bone, you have a good night. Thanks for dropping in. We're currently focusing. Okay, now we're looking pretty good on the focus there. We're gonna make this one a 300-second exposure. Okay, and then we're gonna just tell it to capture. And in about 10 minutes time, we'll get the first picture. After that, it takes about 5 minutes for each additional picture. So anyway, what was I missing? Okay, so I'm looking for number 23 and 32. And once again, I'm intentionally cutting these the wrong way, but mainly because I believe it is the correct way to cut it the wrong way. So I bought a pack of blades like these, and they came in like a safe dispenser. The dispenser was defective, so I ended up endangering myself in the act of trying to fix it. I'm doing it wrong. We're just gonna have to let. Oh, there's the missing piece. Oh man, I wish I showed you how that piece came out. So it's like a separate piece of plastic here, a separate piece here, obviously here. So I'm gonna press that in. Oh, that's nice. Oh, whoops. There we go. Now it's in there. Okay, now let's see here. D2, 7, and 8. So where does the letter D come in? I think this is the letter D. This is D1. We need a red component. D2, 7, and 8. Once again, I'm purposely cutting it the wrong way. I'm leaving a large burr on here to reduce pressure marks. So now, this motherfucker. Oh man, I made that worse. Let's go to 800 grit and pray. That's better. You know, we're gonna try an X-Acto knife. Hey, what's up, Slim Nim? When I see model size robot, it makes me think of Gotcha Force. I don't know if I know about Gotcha Force. Excuse me. I don't know about Gotcha Force, but I do know about Mobile Suit Victory Gundam. And that is the Gundam model I'm working on today, the V2 Victory Gundam. As soon as I get this blade in here. So we can see we actually have part of it right over here. This is like actually where the chest would be. You got the cockpit where the pilot sits. You got the head over here. See, that's a Gundam head. It has the sensors and antennas. This is basically part of the chest in the back, but this part is basically a thruster or exhaust, nozzle over here with thrust vectoring. But it also turns into a fighter. And we can sort of see some of that on the box. So you got the cockpit right over here. You got a fighter plane over here. So this kind of folds out and turns into that. Really, dude, an N64 game. Well, I have an N64 cartridge that probably has that game on it. Yeah, this is an N64 cartridge with an SD card slot on it. And I need to try that out sometime. So I'll see if I can find that game on this cartridge. I would love to play me some Gotcha Force. Check the telescope. Yeah, okay, we're taking some pictures of the Andromeda Galaxy here. So we got a little nub right over here. I knew a kid in Boy Scouts. He cut himself with an X-Acto knife. And he immediately puked. Because apparently he's one of those people. And no offense if anyone here watching is one of those people, but this kid was one of those people who pukes when they see their own blood. So he was like, he cut himself with an X-Acto knife, sees his own blood, and goes, wafts on the spot. That is a weird, no offense, but I think it's a weird thing to have. I mean, you gotta get used to looking at your own blood at some point in your life, you know? I mean, we all bleed, and sometimes you just gotta face that reality. Yeah, I liked N64 a lot. N64 was innovative and fun. It had like a good balance of things. PlayStation had one key advantage, but like it was a inferior computing device otherwise. Like I mean, the N64 was more powerful. It might have been a little more challenging to develop for, but you can get better games now. What made PlayStation developing easier was that they had the CD, they had the optical disc, and CD-ROM compared to a cartridge could store a lot more data. That's why you have PlayStation games that have full motion video. The only N64 game I know of that has full motion video is like Jeopardy. And I mean, I don't think it's even full screen video. So what I'm doing is I'm using progressively higher grit sandpaper on this. And basically the initial grit has a rougher finish. And then as you go with the higher grit, you get like a polishing effect. I don't know if I'm really doing this right, but what I'm trying to do is put it in a circular motion to kind of like avoid having like a straight pattern. That's good enough. Okay, so what piece did I have in my hand just now? And I was like, okay, we got another piece right over here we gotta do. I forgot I have an X-Acto blade now. Here I am. I just put glad I was able to stop in, but I gotta hit this sack. Man, it's only 11:39 PM, bro. Nah, I'm kidding though. You have a good night, and I'm glad you have the good sense to go to bed at a reasonable time. And plus, I'm sure it's a weekday for most people. This is my weekend, so I can stay up late. But you have a great night. Thank you so much for dropping in and all that jazz, exchanging cool words, and keep up the good work on your channel, playing cool games and stuff. Now, unlike Bob Ross, I don't usually get to have happy mistakes when building Gundam models. Bob Ross, he gets messed up while painting and be like, oh, we have a happy mistake over here. Building Gundam models, it's hard to have a happy mistake, unfortunately. We're just going to kind of roll with it and see how we go. Right now, I have to put in. Oh, I forgot A19. Whew. Okay, so let's see. The instructions tell me to take this piece and do this. Oh, that's cool. I think we got a satellite in view. Yeah, so it looks like an airplane came by, I think. Could be satellites, but I think it's an airplane. So that ruined one picture from the telescope imagery, but that's alright. So I think something's missing here. Oh, there it is. I had it backwards. So this was backwards. I had to do it like this. Oh, I got a little stuff in there. I'll clean it later. Oh, we missed it. Wait, it just made a snapping sound. Actually, there we go. I think we got it now. Yeah, that seems about right. B2A1. Okay, where's letter B? A117. Okay, so the instructions tell me to take this and shove it into that. Then it's telling me to take this. Oh, I see. This requires some symmetry. Now, I do want to give a quick shout out. Now, while I'm doing this, I do want to give a quick shout out to my friend Lewis. Many years ago, when I told him I was struggling at building Gundam models working on my Gunpla, he hooked me up with a piece of sandpaper, or a good piece of sandpaper, a simple quality piece of sandpaper, similar to this one right here, and kind of put me on track. And although it was years after that I resumed really doing any quality work, that kind of got me like onto the right track because I was really lost. Like I was just like before that I would use at one point I was using an X-Acto blade to cut all of the pieces off the sheet. In fact, that's another thing he did. He was like, "Go get yourself a pair of snips," and basically, he's like, he advised me get a pair of snips, sandpaper, and he was like, "This is the way to do it," and that made a difference. Now I'm just taking a look at this because a lot going on here. Okay, something. If I could move my camera, I would show you what I'm trying to do. You can kind of see it right over there. That's what I'm trying to do. some pieces in there. Now we gotta cut a 10. Okay, then we just go. Alrighty. Now I'm not fully assembling this until I'm sure that I'm not missing anything. I bet I'm missing something. I just remembered something. I gotta check something. Cool. Oh, good. I've been good. I've been good. I've been good. I've been hoping until the end until I tell you about a dream. So I got a quick response here. That I had to. I took a ride on the van to get out to the. Then I went to a soup place with a group of people. and I got lost. And Blaine showed up to the retreat. Then, but uh, so I was just going to this dude's YouTube channel because I had a funny dream. I had a dream, and I wrote it up right over here. I had a dream that I went on a trip to Japan, and I rode on the side of a bread van in order to get out of the airport. And then a group of people that I knew went to a soup place, and it was a weird self-service soup place where you grab the Chinese soup container and you just put it in a bucket and you scoop out the wontons and the rice and all of that stuff. Except it was kind of weird because the pot full of soup was shaped like a rectangle. So then I get lost in the soup place and everyone's gone. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then this dude shows up in a dream to retrieve me from the soup place because I'm lost, so he helps me out. And I should probably turn off the audio. And then we go up an escalator. So I'm following this dude in the dream up an escalator, but then his foot gets stuck in the escalator, and the escalator stops for a second while his foot is stuck, his shoe is stuck in the stairs of the moving escalator, but it suddenly stopped. And then luckily he got his foot out, didn't lose his foot, and was able to go up the escalator. And that's all I remember from that dream. But I find dreams to be quite hilarious. Now, while we're here, let's get back on topic here. Ow. Sorry for hitting the microphone if that hurt anyone's eardrums. So I just noticed something very interesting. The atmosphere is so clear tonight that I'm seeing the Andromeda Galaxy, but I'm seeing details that that I'm not accustomed to seeing this, in the summertime when it's humid out. So you can see this like dust trail here. And remember, we're looking at this. So I'm actually starting to get some detail. I'm starting to get this stuff here is showing up on the image here. And I bet you if I use an O3 filter, which is basically ionized oxygen, we could see more of that pattern over there. But for now, we're gonna just tinker with the histogram a little bit. A little hard to do it in manual mode, so keep it in automatic mode. But you can see a hint of that circular ovoid shape right there. So we'll let it keep blasting pictures of this target for now. Now, getting back to the model, I do want to take a break from this, but I also kind of want to have some determination here to keep going because, I don't want to pause at a bad point in the project. As I understand it right now, If you ever put down a Gundam model in the middle of building it, it's kind of weird when you try to resume because you don't even know where you were. You're like, so I know I'm here right now. And apparently I got to do 2 of these. I believe this is part of the, yeah, this is part of the arm. So basically you're going to have the hand come out over here, I believe. And when you're in battle and he wants to get a beam saber, this comes out. And at least in the cartoon, the beam saber or the lightsaber, so to speak, pops out from this compartment and flies into the hand. Like it comes out of the wrist and goes shoom, into the hand. That's how they do lightsabers in Gundam. Something's wrong with this. Something is wrong. Oh, I know what is wrong. I put this shit on backwards. Alright, before I take a break, I'm gonna take this piece off and fix it. So this is always a little dicey when you have to take apart something after assembling it, especially just now. I fully snapped it shut. Like I completely snapped it shut. I didn't even like, leave any wiggle room to pull it apart. So now I gotta carefully. Man, that sucks. I gotta fix the beam saber mount. I need to get this out by prying this open. And that's always the tricky part, taking these apart once you put them together. Okay, so we basically had to flip this over like this. That's the only reason why I had to take that apart just now. There we go. Now the beam saber can be retrieved correctly. Now we're looking good here. Now, I don't know why it told me to cut this piece off. I hope I didn't misread the directions, but I don't know what to do with this. I might have misread something. Yeah, this is part of the leg. In fact, not only is this part of the leg, I could put it on the leg right now. So I accidentally cut off this piece here. Well, that's good. At least I put this piece on so I don't lose it, right? So this give you an idea of how these Gundam models work. So you see how, like, we're cutting this off, but we have a random piece here. Well, not random. It's actually, it goes in a specific place, and it looks like it could fall out. So I might put some tape on there just to kind of make sure it doesn't fall out, because I don't want that falling out when I put this in the packaging. But to put tape on it, I have to find tape. Here we go. I got some gaffer tape. There we go. So we put that tape there so that we don't lose that piece. And so the reason that they don't tell me to put the head on yet, because I would love to put the head on, but it's a little easier to store the head when you don't have it attached. But you got to put the arms on. So before you could, put the head on, you want to put the arms on so you don't accidentally damage the head while putting the arms on. So that's basically what's going on there. But I got to take care of some minor business, bodily business. No, but it's like 12:18 anyway. So I'm gonna call it the end of the stream. Maybe I'll come back later. Probably not, but tomorrow night maybe if I'm around. or Saturday afternoon because I don't really stream late on Saturday night since I have work on Sunday morning. But I do want to thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. And for now, we shall end transmission as soon as I see the timing lines up.